That does bring us over to the tag team division, starting with LAX versus Styles and Daniels for the NWA World Tag Team titles inside 6 sides of steel.
And also some bullshit.
There's always some bullshit. There's always the naturals. You always have to suffer the naturals.
It's insane.
They're coming off the back of No Surrender, in which Styles and Daniels regained the NWA World Tag Team titles versus LAX. We announce at the press conference on the first show of the month that Styles and Daniels versus LAX will be a rematch at Bound for Glory, but this time inside a steel cage. Conan sees the steel cage as a metaphor. Fences are usually designed to keep people like them out, but now it'll keep Styles and Daniels in.
That's a great line.
Yeah, you want to build a wall? Well, build a wall around them to keep them in something.
And that is the stance you firmly are behind?
I love walls. I also love ladders. Walls and ladders.
Tables, ladders, walls.
It's my favorite modern adaptation of Snakes and Ladders. It's walls and ladders. Conservatives keep building...
That sounds like a MAGA board game.
Yeah, the conservatives keep building the walls, and then the illegal immigrants bring ladders to climb the walls. This is a thing people would actually make. No!
Coming soon to Garrett's Etsy.
Yeah, we're going to sell them on Patreon, actually.
Nope, I don't co-sign this.
Liam loves walls and ladders.
I've never said such a thing.
Liam hates Conan.
Well,
Liam's like, get out of my country. Not in my country, mate. We don't take immigrants.
that's its own problem.
October 5th Impact, we are told that we need to be shown footage of something that happened to AJ Styles in Mexico. Something brutal, something violent. We are shown that footage. AJ won a trophy on a AAA crossover show. Then Homicide and Conan confront him. They attack AJ as a dozen other guys appear out of nowhere and also jump AJ.
I love that, like LAX rolls deep in Mexico is great.
I love them chanting like, Mexico, Mexico, as they beat the shit out of AJ.
AJ, why would you take a booking there?
Hey, it was an official TNA sanctioned booking. They sent him there. They sent him to die.
He should sue them.
Conan says that's what happens when you come to Mexico. I do like the idea that AJ set foot in their territory and then they tried to kill him.
Yeah, makes sense.
LAX faced the tag team of Jeff Watson and Tyler Black.
Tyler freaking Black.
Tyler Black. Seth freaking Rollins in his only TNA appearance.
There's some, actual interesting Seth Rollins TNA lore, though.
Mm.
That, it was TNA, offering him a deal that got him his NXT spot.
Yeah.
He called them and was like, hey, if you guys don't sign me right now, I'm going to TNA.
And they signed him.
Mm.
Seth Rollins as a TNA guy feels like an interesting scenario.
Would he be as big of a fail son as in ROH?
I guess that era of TNA as well is a weird one, because it's when was that? That was 2014. No, 2013? When did he get signed? Even earlier? 2012 maybe?
That's a very good question.
He was one of the very first guys they signed of that generation.
I think he was post Claudio.
I guess he was on TV with The Shield by 2013, so it had to be 2011, 2012.
Let me have a look here. November 20. He won the champ. He signed in 2010.
That early? Jesus.
Yeah, because he was a Florida boy for a minute.
Oh yeah, he was in FCW. God, my perception of time is done.
And then he so he was in developmental for 2.5 years.
So yeah, this would have been him jumping to Hogan Bischoff TNA.
Which honestly does kind of feel right.
He does feel like a Bischoff guy, doesn't he?
Because then assuming he same sort of career trajectory at by 2012, he's sort of rolling in that higher level, you know?
He's kind of where Austin Aries ended up being.
Yeah.
He got killed in less than a minute here.
Yes. It was nice to see him. It was it's always fun when a random ROH guy shows up on these shows.
It is the fun thing about TNA in general, and that nearly everybody comes through the door at some point. So you're just oh, Tyler Black, isn't that fun?
Yeah. And that is always the thing that they were criticized for, though. It was everyone's been there and you signed 20% of them.
Yeah, you were pushing Anarchia and Crimson when you had Tyler Black potentially coming through the door.
Yeah.
Cutter off the ropes to Black, border toss on Watson. It's over in less than a minute. Conan says they're taking the tag titles back. Conan says being put in Ultimate X was a conspiracy, but 6 Sides of Steel is their world.
My world.
Woo-woo. Daniels is in the main event of that episode against Jarrett and Christian. That's the reason Daniels is teaming with Killings, because Styles was killed in Mexico.
It was Killings in Mexico.
Ah, that's the truth. October 12th Impact. JB has LAX. Styles and Daniels just jump him straight away. Hernandez is bleeding. They go to break. They come back. The brawl continues out into the Impact Zone. They brawl into the crowd.
It is funny that heading into this match, I wasn't like particularly excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was excited for it knowing the 4 guys in the environment that it was in.
Yeah.
But like the angles leading up weren't exactly like building my anticipation either.
You didn't love this stuff?
I liked the Mexico attack.
Mm.
But like all the stuff, like they've kind of done everything already.
That is the problem. Like the build to the No Surrender match was very much like blood feud killing each other, and then it just kind of did it for another month.
Yeah.
Here they brawl out to the crowd. Conan appears to turn the tide as they lock Daniels into the LAX entrance area, as Conan fumbled with the lock for ages. Styles tried to climb the door, but Homicide knocks him off as they attack Daniels as AJ watches on. So locked in a cage with LAX.
I did enjoy AJ trying to like jump over.
And then go home show. We have an angle that's awesome, but not for this match. It's an 8-man tag team match. It's AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels teaming with the James Gang against America's Most Wanted in LAX. Daniels and Hernandez brawl into the crowd.
Latin America's Most Wanted.
51-50. They really shouldn't get along unless they really do get along. They love Latin America.
Maybe that's the America they're talking about in America's Most Wanted.
They've never specified.
North America's Most Wanted.
Other than like their gear and cowboyness. I'm sure there's Latin American cowboys.
Yeah. That makes sense. Tejano.
Yeah, he is one of the bigger cowboys.
We see him all the time on Lucha Underground, which you can watch behind the Patreon at tnachat.com.
Hell yeah, plug. Willie Urbina throws water on Daniels, so Daniels handcuffs him to the LAX entrance gate. AJ gets the hot tag, runs wild with a reverse DDT on Homicide, Pele on Harris. Storm cuts him off with a super kick, but then Harris and Homicide argue over who gets the pin AJ. Willie is still calling the match while tied to the gate, which I did enjoy. Styles knocks Harris into Homicide, rolls up Harris for the win. This is where TNA announces that AMW will face Team 3D, the Naturals, and the James Gang in a 4-way at Bound for Glory. We'll talk about that separately, though. AMW are arguing. Conan comes in. Pie faces Gale. Gale slaps Conan. Conan 6 LAX on AMW. Gale tries to intervene, but then Hernandez throws her all the way across the ring with a fucking border toss into like the next county of Florida as they bury AMW in the Mexican flag and they replay the border toss a bunch. Fucking killed her with this border toss.
Ugh, it's disgusting. I guess like AMW babyface is the next area we're going.
Yeah, babyface AMW against LAX.
Now that has potential for blood.
It should.
As long as we don't gimmick it up by electrocuting a cage or some shit.
As long as we don't Russo this shit, this should be great. Yeah, the angle with the border toss on Gale, awesome. Gale took it like a champ. Apparently, like, because we posted this on Twitter and then Gale was talking about it and she was like, it was great, didn't hurt, everything was fine.
Cool. Like, Gale talked about it because of us?
Yeah, she quote tweeted, I don't actually, she did one of the annoying things of someone else did the thing where they shared the video from our account. And Gale saw that one.
Gale!
How dare she not click
You're never going to make it to the You Got to Be Kidding Me Hall of Fame with that attitude.
That's true. You have to click the thing at the end to go through to the original tweet, Gale. Come on.
She should have a talk with her social media manager.
You don't want to give the clout chasers the attention.
Just us, the cloud chasers that started it.
Hey, we watched, like, I have, like, not to go off on Twitter.
Yeah, speak on it, King.
I have no problem with anybody who's ever sharing stuff that they're watching on Twitter. I think that's really cool. When you're watching wrestling and you're like, hell yeah, look at this cool thing I saw, that's awesome. It's the best.
Unless it's New Japan, where you'll be shot to death.
Yes, TV, Asia, how do you pronounce that?
Asahi.
Asahi? There you
Asahi?
go.
Is Asahi? Wait, I might have fucked that up with the beer. Well, you know, it's spelled Asahi.
We'll take it. They will send a ninja to your house and stab you in the gut with
Why ninja?
Gigantic knife. I was literally about to say sword, and I started saying knife to seem less like a stereotype. Maybe I am.
Why that?
Listen.
Makes you think. I think they would have sent a regular hitman, personally.
You started this show comparing me to Hitler. Then I produced the killer board game Walls and Ladders. And now I am maybe stereotyping Japanese people.
Gale, where the fuck is this tweet?
This was like fucking 2 months ago. This was in January.
Oh, we posted this 2 months ago?
I watched these shows first in January, buddy.
I thought you re-uploaded it.
No, I have to watch these shows again.
Oh, Gale. I guess I can go through our stuff and find it, but whatever. Should have retweeted it. What are we doing?
No, but then it would have shared the Cloud Chaser. But yes, I have no problem with people who are watching stuff and sharing the stuff they watch. The people who just like literally go to find stuff to share on Twitter for clout, I fucking hate them and they should die. That brings us to the pay-per-view. in which Conan does a promo before the match. He says it takes a nation of millions to hold them back and a company of racists to hold them down. They'll raise violence to a new level tonight. Conan calls Gail Kim, and this is the Conan quote. It's very important to say this is the Conan quote. Calls her an Oriental bitch, and they border tossed her right back to Korea.
Gonna be clipping that one.
No. We have returned to the early podcast bit.
No, she actually said a lot about this.
Yeah.
She had like 3 tweets about it. Oh, it was Triple H's thoughts that did it?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what made me mad. Yeah.
Can we take it down?
I could delete the video.
Fuck, that's like the worst account.
Yeah, of all the ones. Fucking clout-chasing engagement bait cunt.
The pitch presented by Jeff was border toss or cop killer. I picked the first. I trusted both of them, but I also cringed at the cop killer for some reason. Oh, and then she's just playing. She's happy to do stuff. She's just happy. And then she said, someone said, probably be more pissed about Hernandez being dangerous. And Gail said, he wasn't. And then the guy said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I love when people back down like that.
Oh, yeah. And then Hernandez talked about it. He said, he called her a warrior. And then she said, thank you for making us baby faces. Spoilers, Gail. And then, wait, there's a lot of, oh god, we should have, what the fuck? There's so much about this. And then she said, remember when you asked me if I wanted to go Sanjay far?
And she did.
And then, yeah, thank you for making us baby faces.
She frankly went further than Sanjay, so we have to define it as Gale far now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say Gale was, like, desperate to do anything physical at this point. Because I'm fairly sure, like, I think around Bound for Glory is when she tried to quit this year. She tried to quit because she was like, fuck it, I've been here a year and I've done nothing. I've done shitty Serelda matches. I want to wrestle. And they start, like, letting her wrestle after this because she wanted to quit because she wouldn't wrestle.
Yeah, the whole reason she went there was to be treated with more respect.
And she just stands next to AMW all the time and occasionally Hurricane ran as Christian. LAX defeat AJ Styles and Christopher Daniel inside 6 Sides of Steel to win the NWA World Tag Team titles. I
went back and rewatched this. In the environment of that wasn't the watch along.
Yep.
This shit fucking rocks.
Great match.
I like that how chaotic it is. I like the this little a lot of it's really smooth, but like there's little bits like AJ fucking up, and you're like, yeah, he should be. It's a war.
Yeah, because he does her little springboard clothesline and loses his footing.
Yeah, it's like the good kind of fucking up, like you see with like Sasha. Where you're like, it adds to like how chaotic it all feels.
Creates an element of danger.
Yeah. It's also, like, remarkably quick.
Because it is, like, it's like 15 minutes, isn't it?
It's like, yeah, I think it is, I think it's, like, 20?
Is it that long?
But, like, it doesn't feel that long.
It does go fast. Wikipedia has it just shy of 15.
Oh, it is 15. Okay. Maybe with entrances and stuff, it was about 20.
They did have to stall for, like, 10 minutes to put the cage up.
Yeah. So, but, like, it's kind of, it's a remarkable, like, chaotic mess. And you get to see some, like, real, like, classic homicide shit. Like, you're right with, like, the fork in, like, the holster in his boot.
Yep.
It's so sick. Like, stuff like, I don't know if he's done it before, but, like, bringing the coat hanger in is, like, feels very classic homicide. Like, with the bleach angles and shit. Like, seeing this man turn, like, everyday objects into weapons of mass destruction is great.
And, like, spitting tequila in the face of somebody who's bleeding to, like, cause the wound to sting.
Also, like, Homicide is so cool. Can we just talk about how cool, like, beyond, like, what he does in the ring, which is obviously awesome, like, his gear is so sick, his moves are so sick, his whole, like, presentation is just so sick. He's so different. He kind of feels, like, a little, like, ahead of his time.
It's funny how much cooler Hernandez is just by proxy of standing next to Homicide.
I'd argue it's the only time he's cool.
Because we were watching Lucha Underground at the moment where he's like feuding with Alberto El Patron, and it's like, oh, geez, Hernandez kind of go away.
Yeah.
Whereas you watch this Hernandez, and he's like the coolest guy in the world because he's with Homicide and he's cool.
Yeah. Homicide, like, truly is just, like, that guy.
As we were saying on the watch along, this is going to be Homicide's last year in wrestling, he has said. So hopefully he does get something cool. He deserves something cool.
Yeah, I hope he gets, like, a proper retirement show, first of all, and, like, you know, I hope he gets Kingston. I hope he gets Mox. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I hope like AEW should do something for him. Like they should. They should do, even if it's a collision. If they don't want to commit a Grand Slam thing to him, because they might think that's too big a show. Do a collision for Homicide in like November as like a Homicide retirement show.
just give him something.
Because like he deserves it as a guy who was like too much of a journeyman to ever like get the big flowers that he deserved. But he deserves like a final moment for everyone to go, that guy rocked, and he was actually like one of the most influential guys of the last 25 years.
He certainly does deserve something like that. Like, again, like if you want to do it and make it like super like relevant to it all, you have ROH right there. You can do like literally a whole show to him on that, you know?
Yeah, the final battle. Do final battle in New York, and it's all about Homicide.
Yeah, he deserves like, and like you can do him and Kingston as like the final match or something. Like, Also, TNA should do fucking something for him too.
Damn right, should do some LAX stuff.
Like, what are we doing?
Hall of Fame induction, Homicide Hernandez.
Yeah,
and Conan.
Yeah.
They stall for time as they build the cages as it's constructed. Don shows a World Series program that is featured, that has TNA featured in it because of AJ Brzezinski. They're actually still finalizing the cage build as LAX are doing their entrance. Don brings up that Styles and Daniels have won 19 TNA titles between them.
Is that true?
With that they have 19?
That's so many titles.
Yeah, it's a lot.
For a company that's only been around like 4 years or some shit.
Because like Styles had been a 3-time world champion, like a 5-time X Division champion, like a 3-time tag champ. I think Daniels was 2X and 5 tag, something like that.
That's crazy.
They've won a lot of belts. They're TNA's boys.
You know, I recently got a holster at work for like our equipment, and I might just put a fork in there
just in case.
Just in case. Just like fucking Homicide would, you know?
Hernandez hurls Styles into the cage, drawing blood. Homicide jabs Daniels in the head with a fork as he bleeds too. Homicide gets a bottle of tequila and spits it into Daniels' wound. Daniels hits a top rope hip toss to turn the tide, which as a simple move off the top in a cage match, looked really good.
The Daniels is sick in this too, and like again, like it is just Homicide making everything look great. But like the bump he takes off the fucking top from the hip toss is just like
Yeah, it's like it is the perfect mix of guys. Like Styles and Daniels as like the guys for Homicide and Hernandez to be cool against. Because like Styles and Daniels are the perfect like white meat boring.
Yeah, like they are just like the good wrestlers, you know?
Like they have their own thing going on, but they're like so like personalityless in almost a good way that it makes LAX stand out even more. Daniels gets the fork and stabs Homicide with it, which causes Homicide to bleed as well. Hernandez pounces Daniels into the cage but eats a Pele. AJ holds on when Hernandez drops Daniels and Homicide in a Tower of Doom. AJ then hits a crossbody off the cage onto Hernandez in like one of the cleanest crossbodies you will ever see in your life. It looks so good. Hernandez goes for a splash off the cage, but Daniels moves and Hernandez just crashes and burns.
Yeah. Which is what he is really great at, is just like that crash and burn. Like, because he is so giant.
Because we've seen in the year 2024, 2 men like break their legs jumping off cages. We saw it with Edge and we saw it with Bronson Reed. And like I watched this Hernandez one and it's like, that man could have easily broken his legs with this cage jump.
I also want to talk about like in this match, fucking AJ hits the goddamn cleanest like DDT that he's like ever done.
He does it in like one movement.
He doesn't plant his feet on it. He just floats through. Like, he does like a fucking sliced bread version of it.
It looks so good.
It's so crazy.
Homicide chokes out Daniels with a hanger as Conan helps too. Homicide then drops AJ on his head with a Gringo Killer to win the World Tag Team titles. LAX beat down Styles and Daniels after the match as well.
Thank God LAX a chance again.
The original plan was for AMW to do a run-in for the save, but that got cut for time.
Yeah. They did what they had to do though, to be fair. Like they made the most of the time. I have a New Japan story break.
Oh, go.
Tanahashi has asked just 4 guys to join Hontai.
It's a big ass stable.
Well, it's not a real stable.
But like it's almost too big a collective.
I mean, it's just anyone. It's just everyone not in a stable.
I think Tanahashi should join just 4 guys instead.
Oh shit! What a twist.
Counter offer.
So they seem to be going all in on like Bullet Club is the real enemy, which is interesting time to do that with Bullet Club Civil War also happening at the same time.
So I guess the idea will be that Gabe will eventually choose Hontai.
Yeah, and like perhaps like the House and the War Dogs will reunite against Gabe. It's very interesting though.
That feels like the way they should
Like
go.
the clearing up all of these stables has been much needed for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're. I would just drop the Bullet Club aspect of it and just make it House of Torture and the War Dogs, but like I do appreciate we're clearing things up a bit.
LIJ next.
Yeah, well, that'll be the one, right? If that happens, you know some shit's really about to change.
You can keep the stable. Just have Shingo kill Naito. That'd be interesting.
Unfortunately,
again.
I don't think Shingo's got like a top heel guy run now. I think they got to be a little more young guy focused. So he'd probably be like the number 2 for Egg.
Oh no.